Time for a Simmers morning skate at the Kraken Community Iceplex with none other than John Forslund. Forsy, how are you?
I'm great, bud. How are you?
Very good. I'm very good, thank you.
That's good.
Former voice.
Glad we established that.
Yes. We're both feeling good this morning,
Yes.
although I guess you got sopped on the way in.
I did. I got soaked, but I feel good.
You're drying out.
That's why we have a hood.
That's
I
why
should use it next time.
You should wear the hood next time.
Exactly.
Former voice of the Hartford Whalers.
Yes.
On TV side,
Yes.
Chuck Caton Radio. I was thinking to myself this morning when that popped into my head. I was at a game in Greensboro, home finale against the Ottawa Senators. That would have been 97?
Oh boy.
98?
Well, the first year was 97, 98. So.
Okay, it might have been spring of 98.
Okay.
Unfortunately, sad news, that was right before Chaser. It was the last home game before
so it was the second year.
Yeah, second year in Greensboro.
Yeah.
All right, 3 topics. First of all, we see Andre Burakovsky in a red jersey. I imagine that can be nothing but good news.
It seems. I mean, the only thing we can go by is what's been reported, because we really haven't had an official word as to what his status is. But it appeared that Ron Francis said to the Seattle Times that he might be back before the playoffs, or at the playoffs if they do make the playoffs. But today is a good sign. Red sweater, non-contact. I hope he travels with the Kraken to Vancouver for the game Tuesday and skates there and maybe gets a practice in, and maybe before the end of the regular season. That would be nice.
Very nice. You tell Johnny's an old school hockey guy. He made sure to say if they make the playoffs, because I said that in the dressing room about a month ago, and they're looking at me, oh, come on. I said, oh, no. We can't, you cannot.
No, I've seen it before. I don't want to bring this up, but I've seen it before.
Oh, yeah, it happens. Yeah. Speaking of it happening, they cannot be lulled into a false sense of security because it's the Arizona Coyotes 3 times in the next week, because that can bite you in the butt.
Well, you don't want to be in a position where you have to beat them 3 times, because I don't care what team it is or what the conditions are. The odds will tell you it's hard to beat any team 3 times. So if you're relying on that, don't. If you're a fan, don't just look at the schedule and say, these are easy gimme games for the Kraken. They won't be. The only thing going for Arizona is the fact that they can't win on the road all season. So they have the worst road record in the league. They only have 7 road wins. They're better in their building, but they've got some young pieces that can move. I think Andre Turney's done a really good job with them coaching. Tough circumstances, constant rebuild, constant retool, chaos surrounding the organization and where they play and all of this. But by and large, he's kept the group together. So take it a step at a time. It should be a win. The Kraken have to, they have to get better at home. I mean, this is, it's been a spectacular season. Should be a great story if they make the playoffs. But you look at their home record, and I'd like to see them gain some traction at home before a playoff situation.
Coyotes Monday night, at Vancouver Tuesday night, Coyotes back Thursday night at Climate Pledge Arena, and then they end up playing him on the road one more time, and then Vegas. Last thing, talked to Coach post-game the other night. Despite the 3-1 loss, they never stopped working. The work ethic was 100%.
Oh, no.
There was a break and a mistake that essentially cost them that hockey game, but they're sticking with that premise, that discipline, for the most part.
They have to, because that's how you get playoff ready, and that's how you get a team to play like a team. And that's really been the great story about the Kraken all year, is that they are a team, quote unquote. And every guy has a role. They've embraced it. They know what they're supposed to do. They found their identity early in the season, which is really hard to do, especially for an expansion team. That was not anywhere close in the first year. But they know what Kraken hockey is supposed to look like, and that's the first step. And all the good teams have that in their arsenal. And so that's where they're at. They played a hard, grinding game against LA. I know the coach liked a lot of that game, and apply the same principles against a team like Arizona, you should have success. And then you continue to build and get to that point where you can clinch a spot, get in, and then see what happens. And if this team does make the playoffs, there's so many players who've gone a long way and have won, on the roster. That's probably going to get overlooked by a lot of people just because of the Seattle thing and the expansion thing, and, maybe not playing well in the second half on a consistent basis, and maybe they'll just be looked at that way. But you know what? There's some guys here who have won it and have played deep. It'll be interesting. So let's hope they get in.
I believe 7 guys with cups.
Yeah.
7 guys with cups.
That's the hidden thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
John Forsland, you can check him out tonight on Root Sports, the call of the game on television. Then you can watch my little summary post-game if you want to. On Seattle Hockey Insider, My hand's starting to get shaky.
I love your equipment, by the way.
I don't have my gear.
You've done a great job with this.
Again, thank you to the LA Kings for hooking me up with their gear and shooting it for me on Saturday, but this will be the last time we have to do that. This is
definitely hands-on.
Very intimate. Yes, indeed. John Forsland, there he is. You should do this professionally. You're really good at talking about hockey. You know what I'm thinking? Cheers.
One job, that's it.
That's it. Yeah, me too. Well, see you soon. See you tonight.